Hey, what's up? It's day one of the season. I just got my fabled Let Me Solo Him Azta'rec achievement. Playing Hunter, went Beast Mastery for this. It used to be that pets wouldn't survive on these delve boss fights, like back when they came out in Midnight, but, or not Midnight. What was the last expansion? The War Within? But Midnight so far, the delve bosses have been pet tankable. I don't know exactly what the difference is that enables that. Um, a big thing though is that Valeera's healing she does through the vials on the ground that you pick up do heal your pet in bigly, so that helps a lot. I did level up Valeera last week to level 80. I apologize. I've been sick for like half a week, and not half a week. I've been sick for a few days, so I apologize on coughing and stuff like that. Funny enough, on like come Sunday, like 3 days ago, 2 days ago, my believer was only level 45, but I was sick and I wasn't doing anything on Monday, and I just went over to this delve and just ran laps around it on a mount, picking up the curios on the ground, which you can do even if you aggro mobs if you equip Dundun's Favor, and you get like a level on Valeria roughly every quicker than every 10 minutes, especially at the lower levels. So it's very, it takes a few hours if you want to do it, but if you're gonna like watch them, put a movie on a screen or like I was sick for the day. This was actually great for me to do because it was very simple. Put on a couple streams. Anyway, I'm kind of belaboring on that point too much. Short point is leveling up Valeera to 80. I think did make a difference because her healing orbs are so potent. I don't think I really had to worry about my pet dying. My pet died like once or twice in all my attempts. But anyway, having Valeera in the healing role, making sure just pick up a healing potion off the ground every few, wait 6-8 seconds between picking them up. Make sure you stagger so that you keep that 4 stack rolling. Is really all that I'll say about pet tanking and keep Valeera up. I'm just kidding. I'm going to say a little bit more about pet tanking. Two talents that are important: wilderness medicine and no hard feelings on the under misdirect. I didn't even use this, but wilderness medicine definitely to help keep your pet healed up. And then additionally, if you use a cleft hoof's family ability, exotic ability, 10% more armor and 20% more healing on the cleft hoofs. I was not using tank spec cleft hoof. I DPS spec. Leech seems to heal them a reasonable amount, not so much on single target, but also just having access to lust. If the pet was dying, then I might have switched it to the tank spec and tried that out, but it wasn't. So I was running it in ferocity so I could get lust. Other things about setup while I'm on Valeera, I went with one of the new things. This Frostheart Venom says it slows enemy cast time by like 20%. Which is really important because the thing I died to most was the cast getting off while I was looking at other things. So I went with that. For this one, I just picked the one that said does the most damage. This Ouroboros Curse, sure it would help me every now and then, but I couldn't rely on it. I'd rather just kill the boss faster. For this last one, I think I was running... I just swapped it to Dundun's Favor from whatever I was using. I think I was using the middle one, so that they take more damage after I interrupted them. Otherwise, for talent setup for the damage side of the tree, for the spec side of the tree, it's just the single target spec. On the class side of the tree, again, make sure you have the couple things that help your pet healing. And then I don't think anything else mattered too much besides disruptive rounds. I would actually make sure to take Born to be Wild. I would swap some stuff around here in retrospect so that I could get Born to be Wild two stacks, because Turtle... Sometimes if like the boss does a kill, it does like the casted ability and you kill him and then he goes into intermission right away, then the ad will come out and sometimes your kick won't be up by the time the ad casts the ability. So having Turtle available to save yourself from the ad cast can save you. One thing I did not try was feigning any of the casts. So another thing, you know what, let me just go do it right now. Let's just go take a look and see if you can feign the cast. I'll show you a little bit I'll play the kill clip recorded after this. But here's the setup. So I like keeping the boss towards the outside of the room, and then only when he's about to go into the Simon game do I move to the middle. That enables me to aim the blight cone to the outside and keep puddles out of the middle. So I start the fight by pulling him over here. Then I'll kind of stand here while Valeera puts orbs down, and then there's a bile coming up, so I'll move here so the cone goes outside and the puddles don't clog up the middle of the room. And I repeat that until he goes to the middle. He'll go to the middle at 90%. Usually I'm phasing him before he gets 90%, but right now I'm just doing this to see if I can feign the cast or not. You cannot feign the cast. Okay. So, sorry. I wasn't really trying to... So you don't need to put points into improve feign death. Okay. Good, quick little experiment right there. But again, talents, single target DPS, and then I would recommend focus back on interrupts, the two things that help keep the pet alive, and then it's generically just the other regular stuff you'd have in your single target. Well, really more in your delve or dungeon build. What is kind of raid DPS? You can just take whatever, go on Icy Veins, look up Azta'rec single target raid DPS build, and then swap around the class tree such that you make sure you have those two pet ones and this interrupt one. Nothing to trank and no poisons to feign off. I think there's a debuff he puts on you, but with Valeera as a healer, she removed it for me every time. I never saw it, or really had to worry about it. Alright, Altar of Corrosion. Accursed Poison. This puts like a poison dot on the enemies, and it interrupts them. Which, at first I didn't want to use this, because it was making me pay less attention to the interrupts. And I was like, well, if I don't have this and I have to pay attention to the interrupts, I feel like I'm less likely to get caught off guard by one. But I found that sometimes, depending on when the boss would phase, I wouldn't have my interrupt available in time for the ads cast. So that pushed me. I felt like I had to use Accursed Poison. And more than half the time, this will interrupt the boss's interrupts. You just, whenever a cast is going off, sit on it until the end of the cast. Half the time, if it's the boss, this thing is going to interrupt it, and then the other half the time, you just kick it. That made it That made it so that I always had my interrupt available for the ad, and if in the event that the boss, I didn't have my interrupt available for the ad, then I could just turtle the ad cast. That's all I can think about talking about in terms of talents and that kind of crap. I'm just rolling in with Mythic Raider gear from season 1, and just a couple random like new champion pieces, that kind of thing. So 297. Again, the Valeera was level 80, and I don't know how to say if the Valeera level 80 makes a difference or not. I get the hunch that it does, because the healing orbs do so much healing. I would say at least maybe level your Valeera up to like 70 or something if you're having trouble. I don't know how much of a difference it makes, because I've only done it with the level 80 Valeera. Okay, the next biggest thing, 1 is interrupting that cast. 2 is being able to do Simon. Here's how I did Simon. If you know Roy G. Biv, the color spectrum order, you can do Simon. So, in order of Roy G. Biv, I've assigned keybinds for world markers, right? So, red is 1, orange is 2, yellow is 3, green is 4, blue is 5, purple is 6, and then at that point you kind of run out, but moon is 7. And you'll never need to do more than these. He does 3 fixed Simons at 90%, 60%, and 30%. So the first one at 90% will go all the way to moon. The next one at 60% goes all the way to diamond. And the last one, sorry, I think I misspoke a second ago. The first one at 90% goes all the way to square. The second one at 60% will go all the way to diamond. And the last one at 30% goes all the way to moon. While he's putting out Simon, I stay as close as I can to the middle, which I am able to do because I've baited the bile to the edge of the room. So I'm aiming to have no goop pools in here, and I'm trying to stay within this inner circle as I move between the quadrants. The cast is kind of fast, and if you linger out here, it makes it difficult for you to actually get over there in time while also putting the markers down and that kind of thing. So by keeping the bile to the outside of the room, it lets me stay close to the middle here. So if he's putting stuff out, I'll go, you know, I'll count it out as he goes. I'm targeting the ad, so I'll go 1, 2, 3. No, hold on. Well, you know what? Here, we'll just do it live. So there is some bile in the middle of the room, which is not what I like, but oh, also my pet died. Sorry, I was not like really expecting or prepared to do a pull, so this is a little So bait bile to the outside. 90% he's about to do it, so scoot towards the middle. So I'll go 1, target the ad. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now I go to red. I'm not going to get there. I got there. Kick. Orange. Yellow. Green. Blue. So while he's putting the cones out the first time around, I count out the numbers, because all I have to do with my head is correlate the numbers to the keybind. And then when he's actually doing the Simon game casts, then I call out Roy G. Biv to myself. And I just have to go in Roy G. Biv order. My pet's been dying a lot right now because I haven't really been picking up and staggering the orbs. But that's pretty much it. If you can do that for 7 minutes or however long it takes, then you can beat the fight. I think I talked about all I want to talk about. One thing that I didn't really exemplify or express very much during that kind of example pull was about the interrupt. I downloaded Quartz. I don't normally use Quartz. I've just been using Blizzard UI for a lot of stuff, but I downloaded Quartz just for this, and I disabled everything except target, and I made a really big target cast bar, so that way, while the boss is casting the ability, it's, you know, I've got something big and in my face about it. Additionally, while the ad is out, I'm targeting the ad. Again, if the ad starts casting, there's something big and in my face about it. Also, I think there's Bigwigs added all this stuff, right? So you can go to soul extraction, you can emphasize it, it'll make a sound when it happens. You can add a countdown. I toggled the countdown off and on a couple times, because what would happen is during the Simon game, when I was putting down my markers, I would be calling out to myself like 1, 2, 3, 4 for my world marker keybinds, and then this countdown would start going off and to go at 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, and it was kind of like, jarring or confusing a little bit. But I ultimately ended up going with the countdown because I would just be in the middle of the pool and just die, and it would just be because a cast went off. So the simplest thing to do about it was to, use a tool that's there to help me know the cast is going to go off. Another thing you can do, like I moved my counter shot to the start of my, button tracking bar here. That way I know whenever I have counter shot available, I know that I need to be, being cognizant of a cast to kick. Because after I've used counter shot, after about 30 seconds, I'm roughly expecting then for another cast. I ended up actually not paying so much attention to that later on, because there would be, after I started using Curse and Poison and it would interrupt the boss, the using counter shot on or off cooldown to tune in to the enemy cast was no longer viable. But there's just an idea. Additionally, Mend Pet. Essentially, outside of Bestial Wrath, I'll Mend Pet on cooldown, and then right before going to Bestial Wrath, I'll make sure to Mend Pet immediately beforehand. Just one other thing I can think of. Outside of that, everything's standard. Use all your flotions pass. Oh my gosh, use all your potions and flask and food and all that kind of crap, and I think she got it. Anyway, if you have any questions or if you have any more information that could help people, post it in the comments or check in the comments. And I'm going to split this off now, and I'm going to play my kill video. And I wish you good luck.
for cover.